Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of Theme Park Center. Today we are going to be talking about all things Galaxy's Edge because it literally just opened this past weekend. If you haven't seen it yet, we did put up a vlog of our most recent trip to Galaxy's Edge. It's on our YouTube channel right now. If you're listening to the podcast, the link will be in the show notes. And we'll also put a card up in the YouTube video, so if you're watching the video version of this, you can just click on that card, or I'm sure it's a suggested video. But so check out that video, but we're going to be talking about all things Galaxy's Edge. My name is Jonathan Holt, and joining me today is Tricia Kennedy.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, so you've been to Galaxy's Edge now 5 times.
Yes.
Which is frustrating because you got media preview over in Disneyland.
Yep.
And then pass holder preview over here, but then you've been like several other times for other reasons.
Yep.
And I have been there a mere one time, which was on, what was it, Friday?
That would have been Friday, yeah.
Yeah, we went on Friday. So the day after the grand opening. And I thought it would be cool, while it's still fresh, to talk about our experiences and overall thoughts about the land and all that fun stuff. So let's start it off with because it is Star Wars.
Yes.
How big of a Star Wars fan are you? Are you like nerd, or are you like casual fan, or do you just like not care?
I love Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
I almost got a BB-8 tattoo, so that would have been.
Yeah. Okay, so are you more of like the Disney Star Wars movie type person?
No, the originals still 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Are definitely my
Cool.
favorites.
Yeah. I as well am a hardcore like original trilogy person, but I also really do like the prequels. Don't at me. But I really do enjoy the prequels. And I've had issues with the Disney kind of stuff, but overall, as like a whole, I enjoy what Disney has done with Star Wars. I think they've made some rocky, decisions. But I mean, that's a different podcast for a different time.
True.
But overall, I really like what they've done. So, needless to say, I was ridiculously excited for Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And unlike Avatar, it actually opened
It did, yes.
when
That is true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Avatar took them 6 years to build
Yeah,
that or something. It was ridiculous. Galaxy's Edge was we're building it, and 2 years later it was open.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, and everyone thought they were going to miss the deadlines for it, but they made it.
Well, yeah. I mean, they kind of missed some of the deadlines.
Oh, yeah.
But,
But they got it out there.
yeah, and the deadlines that they did miss are opening later this year.
Yes,
Or if you're in California, early next year.
Yeah. Because we did it first.
Yes. Woo. But for those of you wondering, that deadline that we speak of is the Rise of the Resistance attraction. Galaxy's Edge has 2 main rides in it, Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance, but only Smuggler's Run is open right now. And that's the ride where you can ride the Millennium Falcon. So let's talk about that a little bit. What do you think about that ride?
That ride is fun. Yeah, people compare it to Flight of Passage over at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pandora area.
Yeah. I don't know. It's similar, but I do like Smuggler's Run better.
Yeah, I would compare it more to if you took Star Tours and Mission Space.
Yeah.
And combined them. It's more like that, where it's a group simulator thing where you're in a spaceship and you did Star Warsy stuff, but then you also kind of fly the ship, and you have something to do, even though Mission Space, jeez. But even though Mission Space, you don't really control anything. It's kind of it just happens, and you can push the button if you want. What you do or don't do actually does affect the ride to some extent, and we'll talk about this a little bit in a second. But I think for the most part, because it is a ride, you have to get from start to finish.
Yeah.
If you don't do anything, or if you mess it up really bad, it kind of still takes you on a certain path. And there are certain story beats that I feel like it hits no matter what.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you fly it too low, you will hit the ground.
Yeah.
If you fly too high, you'll hit what's ever in the sky.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and also because 6 people can ride at a time, and so if you have like 2 pilots, 2 engineers, and then only 1 gunner, they will activate the spots. So you're not going to have like a worse ride because you only have 1 gunner. So they take that into account.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there's 6 spots, like you said. There are 2 pilots, 2 engineers, right, and 2 gunners. And you said up until this last time you wrote it, you've been gunner every single time.
I've been gunner every time except for 1, and 1 time I was engineer.
Okay, so you were the engineer once. So then now that so when we went and we wrote it, we were both pilots, which was awesome.
Yes.
So fun. But since you have done all 3 positions, which one's your favorite? And like, are they really all a unique experience?
I think so. Well, engineer and gunner I feel like are similar, but pilot definitely is like the most intense one for sure. And the thing about being like engineer or gunner is you can actually kind of take it in a little bit more and like watch the video instead of like when you're pilot, you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, we're gonna die, and like you're just like so focused on flying it.
Like, I'm sorry, Chewie.
Yes, for real. So my favorite's definitely pilot, but I feel like most people's favorite is pilot.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, though, is if you get motion sick, they say don't do pilot.
Really?
Yeah. They say if you're a gunner, because I think it's pilot, engineer, gunner, I think is the order. It might be gunner and engineer switched. But they say if you're in the back, you will get less motion sick.
Interesting.
So.
Yeah. So one of the cool things about Galaxy's Edge is that everything is interactive, meaning if you choose to, you can actually be a part of the story that Galaxy's Edge is telling, and you can interact with that story. So if you watch the vlog, I show a little bit of us messing around with the Disney Play app. I didn't show a whole lot because I want to do like a whole vlog just specifically dedicated to that. But if you download the Disney Play app, there's actually a lot that you can do with that app to interact with the land. For example, and I'll tie this all into Smuggler's Run in a second, but for example, if you pull up the app, there's different missions that you can select, and they'll send you on missions for the First Order or for the Resistance, whichever one you choose, to go around the land and do different tasks and tell people certain information and all that stuff. And then there's also like a game where you can, they call it slicing, but it's basically hacking. You can go up to different control panels in the land that are on the different buildings, and you can hack into those control panels and set them to be, gathering intel for the Resistance or for the First Order. And it's kind of like this cool game because, obviously there's other people that are running around doing the same thing, and some of them might be First Order, some of them might be Resistance, so it's like this cool back and forth thing. And you can also, another part of the app is you can translate stuff. So everything, for the most part, everything is written in Arabic, which is the Star Wars language. It's like the alien language that they use in Star Wars. So all the signs are in Arabic. A lot of the lettering on the costumes are in Arabic. Things that are labeled on crates are in Arabic. And everything actually makes sense for the Arabic language. So you can pull up that app and, type it in or, look for different things that are in your area, and it'll actually translate whatever you're seeing into English for you. So you can read what everything is. It's really cool. And you can scan shipping containers to see what's inside of them, and you can store the items. And it's really cool just how much you can do in this app. And everything you do earns you credits. Credits, you can't use it for monetary value, but there are uses for it within the app, so you can upgrade things, and it's an interesting little game. But bringing it back to Smuggler's Run, I don't know how they did it. Maybe it was I don't know how they did it. Maybe they connected to my phone via Bluetooth or something, kind of sketchy, crazy stuff like that. I don't know. But after Smuggler's Run, I pulled up the app because I wanted to, play some games, and we were in the cantina, and I thought, like I wanted to translate some of the words, see what they were saying. And I pull it up, and it's like, oh, you have, 2,500 credits deposited by Hondo Inaka for the Smuggler's Run ride. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. So that's another interesting thing. The ride, like, depending on how well you do or how bad you do, can reflect inside of this app, and it'll store all this data. And apparently, I mean, it didn't happen to us, but apparently if you go into, like, the cantina, the bartenders will be like, oh, we've heard about you. You might want to, like, keep your head low. Or if you do really well, it's like, oh, man, I heard, how well you did on the Smuggler's Run. That's awesome. Like, good job flying Millennium Falcon, that kind of stuff. Which is really cool, just how interactive this land can be if you choose to take part in that. Of course, if you're not a huge Star Wars fan, you just want to go in and ride the ride and have fun and then leave. You can totally do that too. But for someone who's a huge Star Wars fan, I think just that little bit of interactivity brings the land to a whole new level. And for a land, because, like, it is just a theme park land. You can totally explore the entire thing in, like, 30 minutes. It's not like it's a whole park. It's just a land inside of a park. But the app easily takes that land from a 30-minute to an hour experience where it's like you walk around, you see all the stuff, and okay, cool. It takes it from like a 30-minute to an hour experience and makes it, like an all-day experience. I easily could have spent all day in that land just messing around with the app and going on little adventures and missions and all that stuff. So if you're a Star Wars fan and you want to spend all day there, there is so much more to do there than just the ride. Sorry, I know I was talking for really long, but, like, so you unfortunately didn't get the Play app to download.
Yeah.
But you kind of, like, went on some of these missions with me.
Yeah, I was watching, yeah.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on that? Like, I know you said they didn't have that available in Disneyland at the time that you were there.
It wasn't working or something. I don't know if it was my phone or what.
Oh.
But
okay. So that was pretty much like you were experiencing all that stuff for the first time with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't really know much about it, so it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
See, like, the different missions and all that.
Yeah. Is that something that, like, you would do, like, if you were just there on your own or something? Is that something that you would find yourself doing, or do you think that's like, oh, that's a cute idea, and then, like, forget about it?
I think I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's fun for people who are the huge Star Wars fans because they get to kind of become more, like, in the whole world and really be on Batuu and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's such a cool and innovative idea for a theme park, you know? Like, you don't really have that in other lands. Like, I love the Harry Potter areas inside of Universal, but at the end of the day, it really is just a Harry Potter land, you know? Yeah. Like, you can go to Hogsmeade and shop in some of the stores and then go ride the ride, get a butterbeer. But that's really it, you know? There's not, like, this grand story that's being told. And that's what I think Galaxy's Edge really focuses in on, is we're not just, you know, giving you a ride or giving you an experience. We're actually telling a story with it, too. Yeah. And if you want to, you can take part in that story, too. Yeah. I think that's really cool. And I hope that as the years go on, they continue to develop that side of the thing. Definitely. Because that's something that the land can forever, you know, be changing and evolving as the movies do and all that through this app. I think it's a really cool idea, and I really hope that they keep up with that. Yeah. But, yeah, another one of the things that I just really enjoy about the app is that it's something free that you can do in the land. You know, like, a lot of the things and some of the biggest complaints about Galaxy's Edge that we've heard so far is that it's basically like a surplus charge for everything. You know, it's you buy your ticket and you're there and you have one ride, but if you want to do anything else, you have to pay extra for it. And I can tell you firsthand experience, Galaxy's Edge is not cheap. Like, I seriously, like, go watch our vlog. We ended up eating at Docking Bay 7, which is one of the main restaurants there. And for a small little piece of chicken with a little bit of potatoes, it was like almost $17. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely ridiculous. Like I get it, it's a theme park, but for okay food, that's a really small portion.
Yeah,
that was a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Mine was expensive too. Yeah, I had the vegan one that it's like 3 meatballs, a little bit of hummus, and pita bread. Yeah. And it was also like almost $17.
Yeah, but you said you actually left pretty full from that.
It was pretty filling, yeah.
I remember I left Docking Bay 7, and I thought the food was unique, and it was pretty good. But I remember leaving not satisfied. Like, I wasn't full. Like, I wasn't remotely, like, even halfway full. Like, I was like, I could eat 3 more of those. Yeah. So I think, you know, regarding just the food there, I don't know, just get the biggest portion you can because, like, really, like, if you're paying basically $17 or something, I should be leaving full. Yeah. You know, especially when you can go other places in the theme park and eat something that is cheaper and more filling. I don't know. That's just, but I get it. It's Galaxy's Edge. It's brand new. It's the big thing that they've been spending all their money on. Of course, it's going to be expensive. Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about some of the other experiences in the land. What were some standouts to you? Like, obviously, we didn't get to do everything, and we will be back to do the stuff that we haven't done. But, you know, there's so much to do, so little time. Yes. We didn't get to do everything. But what were some of the experiences that really stood out to you?
So I know you haven't tried this yet, but blue milk it's funny. Like, people either love it or hate it. Yeah. It seems to be. And
well, it seems like people like one or they like the other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I like the blue the best. Yeah. And then the green, people like it best, or a lot of people like it if you mix it. I tried that. I still didn't know. I like the blue. Yeah. I don't know. I'm team blue on that. I don't know.
Okay, so and what's the deal with like so in Harry Potter butterbeer, you can get it liquid, you can get it frozen, you can get it hot, like you can get a few different ways. What's the situation with the milk stuff? Is it all frozen?
Yeah.
Or
yep, it's all frozen, and then you can also get one with alcohol.
Okay. But there's not like a liquid version.
Nope. It's like a slushie.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. Because in Star Wars, you never see milk frozen. Yeah. It's always like just liquid, normal milk.
Even though if you wait like 10 minutes, then it'll just be liquid.
Yeah, but that's no fun.
Yeah, it's true.
If I'm paying for a slushie, I want to drink it like a slushie.
And actually, when I had it one time, I tried to like spread it out, and then it got really warm, and it was really disgusting warm. It was horrible warm. Jeez. So don't make that mistake.
Okay. Yeah, it's just kind of pricey.
Yeah, it is pricey.
Yeah. But I think at least I saw that if you go in the cantina, you can get a non-alcoholic blue milk that is still like decorated with all the stuff. Mm-hmm. I forget what they called it.
Yeah. I know that they put a cookie on top of it.
Yeah, there's basically like, I think it's like whipped cream,
Yeah.
There might be like some chocolate shavings or something like that. And they put a cookie on top of it.
Yeah. Which they were out of the cookie when we were there.
So sad. But, yeah, so we also got to stop by Oga's Cantina, so they have a 45-minute limit on it right now, just because that is one of the things that does have a line to get in. Overall, Galaxy's Edge wasn't too busy, so if you're afraid of crowds, don't be too afraid to go. You know, it's not like super crowded to the point where you feel claustrophobic trying to walk through everything. But there are some lines for some things. We got so for the food, we got into Docking Bay 7 without having to wait. We walked past Ronto Roasters, and it was just a normal line. Like there wasn't a 30-minute wait or whatever to get Toronto Roasters. There wasn't a huge line for the milk stand either. I mean, there was a little bit of a line, but that sort of stuff, there wasn't really a line. But there was a line for Doc Ondor's and Savi's workshop.
Yes. Yep.
As well as
Droid Depot.
The Droid Depot, yeah. But with the cantina, like I feel like I could spend all day in there, especially with DJ Rex.
Yes.
Like we just stood there for like maybe 15 minutes just watching DJ Rex. Yeah. So DJ Rex, if you don't remember, was the original pilot for Star Tours. Now they have C-3PO as the pilot. But as a homage to that and to, just recognize the original Star Wars attraction, they put they put Rex, the droid, as a DJ inside the cantina, which is hilarious and awesome. And he has a ton of jokes and throws shade at a ton of different people. It's really funny. Awesome. But wow, the music is actually really jamming inside of there.
Yeah.
And the bartenders were singing along and dancing and everything. It was like an actual, it felt like an actual, like what a cantina would have really been if you lived inside the Star Wars universe. That was one of the coolest experiences for me out of all of Galaxy's Edge. I really enjoyed that. But we did get, unfortunately, we weren't able to try any of the drinks. But we did try, they had like a Jell-O thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, we totally should have written the name of that down. But while Tricia's trying to find that, take your time, by the way, no rush.
I feel so rushed.
But it was like basically like Jell-O with vodka. It was like a Jell-O shot pretty much, but it was in like a petri dish looking thing, and it had what are they? Boba balls or whatever they're called. The small little balls made it look like fish eggs or whatever, and they had like Pop Rocks and stuff on it. Sounds very strange, but it was actually really good. It was basically like a sour green apple kind of Jell-O, but I mean, yeah, everything in the cantina was actually pretty expensive. Like the cheapest alcoholic drink they had was like $16.50 or something, and the drinks went all the way up to $45 for one drink. We found it. Okay, it's called the Rodian Ration. They have something. So I don't know if this is Disneyland's, but we're just looking it up. And Disneyland, or I think it's Disneyland because I didn't see this in the Disney World version. But I have something called Oga's Obsession. I could be wrong, so don't take my word for it. You can look it up. But there's one called Oga's Obsession, which is very similar, except it looks like it's cotton candy and blueberry flavored. But the one we had was called the Rodian Ration, which was like a green apple kind of thing with Tito's vodka. It was actually pretty dang good. Totally, it was borderline non-alcoholic at all. Like I didn't even taste the vodka, and I pretty much all I had to eat that day was that tiny little meal from Docking Bay 7. So if there was any alcohol in it, I would have felt it because I was going on like no food, nothing. So probably not the best if you really actually want to like get some alcohol going, I would probably say there's other things to spend your money on. But it tasted really good.
Yeah.
So if you want just like a nice little treat, definitely I would recommend the Rodian Ration. But anyways, what do you think about Oga's Cantina?
I loved it. I could have spent all day in there too. Like it was so cool. Just like, I don't know, the atmosphere. You really felt like you're in Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's like you were wondering like who was about to walk in that door. Mm-hmm. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, I think so. Star Wars, Lucasfilm put out a bunch of Star Wars books about Galaxy's Edge, and there's one that is just titled Galaxy's Edge Black Spire Outpost. That's the name of it. And I've been reading it, and Oga seems to be like one of the most interesting characters that is in that book. So being able to learn a little bit about the characters that own these shops and everything. Is really interesting. So if you're into the books, I actually would recommend that book if you're interested in visiting Galaxy's Edge. But yeah, one of the so real quick, we'll just run down the stuff that we haven't tried yet. Unfortunately, we didn't get to Ronto Roasters, but I definitely do plan on trying that next time I'm there. That looked really good. Basically, that's the place that the guy's cooking all the meat with a pod racing engine. I'm sure you guys have seen pictures of it, but that was it. Like the theming is really cool. It's not necessarily like a restaurant, like a sit-down kind of restaurant. It's more of like a counter service thing, quick service, but not indoors. So it's like it's all outdoors, and but it's in shade. It's like there's a building around it. It's just it's not AC and all that. It's like an open air building, whatever you would want to call it. You go up, get your food, and then there's like some tables outside in the shade. So we were kind of sunned out at that point. So we were like, AC, please.
Yes.
So we decided to go to Docking Bay 7. But next time I'm there, I'm definitely doing Ronto Roasters because it smelled amazing. And it looked really good, too. I haven't tried the milk. But, of course, we just heard Tricia's review.
Yes.
I'm really excited to try the blue milk, though.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I'll probably try that next time. Neither of us have done the lightsaber, which is at Savi's workshop. The lightsaber costs about $200, and I'll probably cave and do it sometime soon. But I just couldn't spare that cash right now, so we didn't do it. And there was a huge line.
Yeah.
So
yes, which you can get reservations for that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to wait in that line.
Yeah, along with the cantina and the droid depot, you can get reservations ahead of time. So if you don't want to wait in all the long lines, check out reservations before you go, and you could probably get one. But I haven't tried the droid depot, but you have.
Yes, I have.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I went on opening day because I wanted to be guaranteed in, and I was thinking it was probably going to fill up to capacity. So we were like, hey.
Which it didn't.
Yeah. So just like my mom and I were like, hey, let's go and get a reservation over at Droid Depot. If you had that, you're guaranteed in. So that was our theory. And then we ended up not needing it to get in, but we still did it anyway. And yeah, it's super fun. You go in, and they have like a conveyor belt with like different droid pieces on it. And you can make an R2 unit or a BB unit. And it's so much fun. Like they have different colors. And you just grab the pieces as they're going by. You put them in a basket, and then you put it together. And then they have this little thing that they put it in and like brings them to life. And it's fun. It's about $99. So but honestly, like that's not that bad for
like a
full remote controlled like droid.
Yeah, I've seen droids like that are more expensive.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
$100 actually isn't that bad,
Yeah.
and you get the experience with it.
Yeah, definitely.
So what all can you do with the droid? Like, I'm assuming obviously like it works at home too. Like if you want to like drive the droid around or whatever.
Yeah, you can do that. And then also while you're at Galaxy's Edge, it will actually like different places, it will start beeping in different places and stuff like that. And they put it in this box, and I was like walking through the park, and somebody kind of like walked into me and hit the box, and it started beeping at them. And so it just like little things like that.
That's funny.
And you can buy like personality chips for them and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. And it's funny because like everyone kept asking, what did we name it? And we had no ideas. And we were just like, I don't know. He doesn't have a name yet. And so my mom and I stopped to get food at one of the places at Studios. I'm like, oh, we see that you built a droid. What's his name? And without even thinking, I'm like, his name's Fred. And they're just like, oh, BB Fred. I'm like, no, just Fred. So we're actually calling our droid Fred.
Oh, nice.
So
nice. Yeah, I don't know what I would call a droid. I would just call him little droidy.
Yeah.
Hey droidy, come here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's really cool. So like, how? I don't know, like if there's like what AI technology or whatever, but like how smart is the droid without the controller? Like obviously you have to use the controller to get it to move around, but like does it respond to voice commands? Does it like what all does it do?
No, it doesn't respond to voice commands.
Okay, so it's basically like just a simple remote control droid at home.
Yeah.
And if you bring it to the park, like it'll connect Bluetooth or something
Yeah.
to whatever, and it'll start beeping when it's in areas.
Yep. And like different, like if there's music playing, it will like start beeping specific ways to like music in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, that's kind of like the rundown. Of course, like we missed a few things. Like we didn't really talk too much about Doc Ondor's. And this episode, I know this episode's going to be a little short, but Doc Ondor's is a really cool place if you're a Star Wars nerd. They have a lot of really interesting things in there, like a lot of cool Easter eggs that you can be like, oh, dang, I know what that's from. That probably, like the vast majority of people, just go over their head. So if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, you definitely have to check out Doc Ondor's. It's right across the street from Ronto Roasters. And Ronto Roasters is like one of the big like centerpieces of the land. So it's not that hard to find. But yeah, so we stepped in there for just a little bit towards the end of the night, and that was really cool, just being able to explore. But to end off this episode of the podcast, I just wanted to hear like your overall thoughts. Is it everything you expected? Is it everything you've been waiting for? Were your expectations met, or were they exceeded? Were you kind of disappointed? Like, just tell me everything that you like. I don't know, just overall thought about the land going into it, and then now that you've been there a handful of times.
I love it. I really do. It's funny because people are like, oh, aren't you sick of it by now? You've been there like so many times in just a short amount of time. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, way to flex on us with that one.
Yeah, not bragging.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I love it. I really do. I don't know, it's really special. And, if you've been, I've grown up with the movies, so getting to like be in the land and just be a part of all that is something that's really cool. And
Yeah,
it definitely,
definitely.
I'm really excited for Rise of the Resistance. I'm hoping
Yes.
that's going to be everything they say it's going to be. And I don't know, I feel like they're kind of giving you a taste with it right now. And then with just like the whole land, and then they're going to like hit you with Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, and so that's another good thing to talk about real quick. So if you are a local to Orlando, and you're kind of afraid about the crowds, and you're like, maybe I'll wait a year or whatever to let it cool down. Honestly, right now is the perfect time to go. If you have a pass, and you've just been afraid of the crowds, don't be afraid. Go, because even if the line for Smuggler's Run is too long, right now it's averaging probably about 95 minutes throughout the day, but it does, obviously it goes up a little bit, but you can also find it a little less than that. When we went, we waited about an hour, which isn't bad. But go right now, because pretty much all the tourists are either also afraid of the lines, so they're waiting, or they're just waiting for Rise of the Resistance to open, because why book a trip to go see the land when only half the attractions are open?
Exactly.
So pretty much everyone seems to be waiting until December to come. So if you're a local, come out, see the land right now before it gets really, really cramped.
Yep.
Because I feel like as soon as December 5th hits, it's game over.
Yeah,
it's like
no, I'd
that
agree.
is when all the crowds are going to be there. And in Disneyland, what is it, like January 20th or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. When that date hits, that land is going to be ridiculously packed. Because really right now, all there is to do is like one ride that has had mixed reviews, and then spend a whole lot of money on other stuff. So it's either like spend money or don't go. And a lot of people, just a lot of people have had mixed reviews because of that. But as soon as Rise of the Resistance opens, that's going to be a huge, huge attraction. Like this, everyone's saying that the scale of Smuggler's Run is kind of small, and I would agree. It is a small scale ride. Like you go in, you sit in the cockpit, and you fly it, and then you're done.
Yeah.
There's not a whole bunch of there's not a lot of grandeur to that ride.
Yeah.
But it was never designed to be that main attraction. Rise of the Resistance has always been the flagship attraction for this land.
Yep.
And Smuggler's Run, with it being the only ride open, it was only intended to be, the second half of that land. But right now, it's the only half that we have. So when Rise of the Resistance opens, oh man, it's gonna be crazy. So everyone who can go right now, go right now.
I agree.
And I mean, even if you don't want to ride Smuggler's Run, experiencing the land is amazing. And really, you should watch the vlog that we put out. Again, links are going to be everywhere. So show notes, description, it's there. But Galaxy's Edge opening has had a huge effect on Hollywood studios. Pretty much everything got down to about 15 minutes throughout the park at one point in time. Except for Slinky Dog. Slinky Dog stayed around 45, 50 minutes pretty much all day. But other than that ride, everything else got down to around 15 minutes at some point in time. So at least go for that alone. You get to experience the rest of the park. Tower of Terror got down to 13 minutes. And that ride, like you never be able to ride that ride less than 45 on a normal day. So yeah, it's definitely worth the experience to go now.
Definitely.
But yeah, overall, I actually really enjoyed this land. I said it in the vlog, and I'll say it here. I kind of went in with tempered expectations because, the Disney Star Wars brand as of late has been a little underwhelming to me. And especially when they go and throw like the word canon at a theme park land, to me it puts it in a higher tier. Like you hold it to a higher standard at that point, because now you're not just saying it's a cool Star Wars themed land. Now you're saying everything that is in this land is actually canon within the Star Wars universe that you know. And that's a tall order to hit.
Yeah, for sure.
So I tried my best to temper my expectations going into the land. And I would say that this land has met my expectations, if not exceeded it. I really, really had a lot of fun in this land. But of course, at the end of the day, it is a theme park. You do have to have those tempered expectations, you know? Yeah. These are questions that I have that I will eventually ask someone. But the Millennium Falcon only has 4 seats. Why are there 6 in the theme park attraction? I just don't get it. Why are the gunners in the cockpit and not they had the staircase that go up and down? Yeah. It's episode 4. One of the first things you see in the Millennium Falcon is the guns.
Yep.
And they're not in the cockpit. Why are they in this attraction? These are the questions that I have. And I don't know, maybe the Millennium Falcon will show up in episode 9 and the guns will have been moved into the I don't know. Maybe it'll be explained, maybe it won't. I will find answers somehow. Yes. But it's some question I just have some questions like that. And I brought it up while we were there just cuz it's wait a second, it doesn't really mean a whole lot for the overall storyline, but the small plot holes of at Doc Ondor's, they have a wall of holocrons, both Jedi and Sith. And if you're talking canon, you know that Kylo Ren is obsessed with Sith artifacts and collecting all that stuff because that's what the Empire did. And he's a huge fanatic of what the Empire was. So because of that, he's been collecting all these artifacts, and one of those artifacts is holocrons. And if Kylo Ren is just outside that door... and everyone knows that this is the place you go when you want holocrons, then why has he not ransacked this place yet? I don't get it. These are and so that's what I'm saying when it's once you say that this place is canon, it kind of like gets held to a higher standard. So that's why I had my expectations tempered a little bit. And at the end of the day, you have to understand it is a theme park. And when I have questions like that, it's more of like a joking, like, haha, like why? But, it's a theme park. That's why.
Yeah.
But overall, I had a lot of fun. I can't wait to go back. And honestly, I'm serious. If you're going, download the Disney Play app first, because I think that completely changed my opinion of the land as soon as I started using it. At first, I was kind of like, oh, that's it? Because when they were advertising it, they made it look massive.
Yeah. And it's really not that big.
Yeah, it's really not that big. Like I said, you can explore pretty much all of it within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I went in expecting like, oh, there's going to be all these like nooks and crannies where you can just go and explore like all these cool different areas, and it's yes, but no. There's not a whole lot to explore, but there's a whole lot of interactive elements of the land that get you exploring and get you doing these different things to interact. So seriously, I would almost not recommend going to this land if you aren't going to use the Play app, because it's literally a completely different experience.
It is, yeah.
If you use the Play app and you are actually invested in that and you're like, oh yeah, let's do this, you're going to have so much fun. Where if you go without it, it's literally just a tourist trap of like, hey, buy a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Hey, pay $20 for a tiny portion meal. You know, like it's a lot of money. Hey, spend $100 on a droid. And if you're a family, you can't just get one droid. You can't just get one lightsaber.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get one for the entire family, like one for each person. So it's a lot of money. But if you have the Play app and you can actually like have more than one person involved in your party. I think there's like games that like hold up to 5 members. And you can connect the different apps and all that. If you get invested in some of that and go on these missions, it's a game changer. It's a completely different experience. So seriously, if you go, get the app. But anyways, Rise of the Resistance, like we said, is still yet to open.
Yes.
So of course, there's going to be a ton of news that is going to be coming out on that attraction soon.
Yep.
They've been having press events about it. We know that for sure because Tricia's media company got invited to those.
But I didn't get to go.
She did not get to go, though. Sad face.
Yes.
I am so sorry for you that you didn't get to go see Rise of the Resistance for everyone else.
It's sad. It's just a sad day.
But for real, as soon as the news starts coming out, we will talk about it. So be sure to subscribe to our feed, our channel, whatever it may be. Like, comment, do all that fun stuff. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, leave a review. You know the routine. If you're on podcasts, you can find us pretty much any podcasting app that you choose. So be sure to follow us wherever you choose to do so. But that's going to be it for episode 6 of Theme Park Center. Thanks for joining us on this conversation about Galaxy's Edge, our experiences, our thoughts, and that's going to do it for us. Where can people find you?
So I do a lot with Disney Dining. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff. DisneyDining.com as well.
Cool. And that'll be linked in the show notes and the description, of course, so you can find all of her work. And my name is Jonathan Holt, and you can find me on Instagram is probably the best place to find me. It's at JohnHolt96. Of course, that'll be in the description and show notes as well. And you can find me on YouTube as well. I have a personal channel. I talk all things filmmaking and that sort of stuff. So if you're interested in filmmaking, photography, learning how to do it, and all that cool, fun stuff, you can follow me at just Jonathan Holt on YouTube. Of course, that'll be linked as well. But that is it for episode 6 of Theme Park Center. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.